Okay, I should be live. So I'm early today. And then I'm going to wait a little bit here. So today's vote was about how do I use AI pack for production coding. I mean, the AI in general for production coding. So that is going to be what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to wait a little bit that people are coming. And because probably I will archive this chat here. So we'll see if it comes. Let's see if I have my chat here. Hi, so I think there's one user. And I'm going to wait until perhaps a little bit. So say hi if you are here, just that I know that I am live. Otherwise, I never know. And I think I'm live right now because it say on everywhere. So I'm double checking now. So today we're going to talk about how I'm doing live coding, live production coding, and with AI. So that is what we're going to do. Hey, Dave. I think it might be just the two of us. So there's something funny is since we are a small group, I might do that as well in LinkedIn for AI Pack and everything. But I'm going to try to do, I took an account on Microsoft Team and stuff for AI Pack. So I can do webinars or I can do like a conference. And so I might try to do that, still do within the YouTube kind of thing. So only the YouTube users will get it in a way, the members for some of them, for these guys. And then we'll be able to do a Microsoft Team and more discussions. So that might be good because apparently, well, relatively a small number. And I didn't do anything in April. I just realized that April went so fast that I did not have time. So today we're going to talk about how I'm using AI for production coding. I think that was the most requested. And so in fact, what we're going to do is, I'm going to change to that. And I'm going to start it like that. So I don't know, I might do another one where I can put perhaps only for the live members on this one, because I think the other ones, other people couldn't make it today. But yeah, I might do another one video just because right now there's a lot of blanks at the beginning. So anyway, one of the things that I'm using for AI Pack. So I'm assuming if you want to talk about something else, feel free to ask. I think we're just going to be just the two of us here on this one. But I'm going to show a little bit how I use AI for my production coding. In fact, it's going to be all recursive because I'm going to use AI Pack to code AI Pack in a way. Yeah. So the first one here is what is AI Pack? It's a thing that allows us to build agent very quickly. And the problem that I had with a lot of cursor and everything is that it tried to be too smart and take control and couldn't really control it. And it was, and Copilot, for example, is almost terrible. Yeah. So it's how do I can, control the thing, and then it was Dev AI, and eventually I generalize it to AI Pack, which is actually pretty generic. So you can do a cargo install AI Pack, that will work. I just released like 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, I just released the version 0.7, 7.7, and it's a big one because it adds a lot of cool stuff. So if you go to the GitHub over there, try to make it a little bit bigger. So everything is in Rust here. You can see that all of the things in Rust. We have the video here, and then the quick start. And then if we have the changelog, sorry, I'm going back and forth. And that is, oh, I can't believe it. The mistake here, which is 0.7 here. So I need to fix that. And yeah, I went too fast. And then, so that is v0.7.7. And this is everything that has been added. So a lot of things has been added on this one, and we have even the temp dir and everything. So it's becoming very, very powerful. And so the way that I use it, so now it's a binary. So it's just 6-7 megs. You download it, you have it, you are good to go. And I give it to every OS, even on Windows ARM, just because it was easy for me. So now the way it works here, I'm going to show it in a small demo. And I'm going to create, so I had this one. Let's take this one, for example. And we are, I cannot put that in front of that guy. And then, so usually I do another project here. So I have these things where I go to a TMP project, and I'm going to remove everything. Boom, start from scratch. And so that is just on my directory here, just one like that. Okay. So now the goal here, and so the goal, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, is, and right now I'm going to show how we can use Coder, which is one of the pack, with the Rust 10x pack. And so once you have installed AI pack, you have a command line which is called AIP. Okay. And the AIP allows you to run like that, where you do AIP, and then you can do different things. You can do run and so on. Yeah. One thing that you can do is AIP run Coder. And that, I'm sorry, it's not that. So the first thing that you need to check is that you have your API keys. So again, it's not part of AI pack to do the AIP keys. You put them in the environment variable like normal. This is actually, it's not fail-proof, but it's actually pretty, it's the most secure way, environment variable, as long as you don't put environment variables globally for everything, because otherwise it's less secure. So as long as you inject them, thanks me, I have a little script here, jkeys that inject them. I'm not happy with these things because it doesn't ask me, it's stored in keychain, but once I've authenticated once, it always gets them. So I need to fix that. But basically, that put the API keys. And now if I do a AIP check keys, I'm going to see all of the keys. Obviously, you do not need to have all of the keys. You can have only some keys, whatever you want. Yeah, but that is all the provider we support out of the box. And it's going to be super simple. So once you have that, we are stuff. Then after you do something like that, you do AIP install pro at Coder. So right now you can install you can pack your folder into an AI pack, and you can install them. You can put in HTTPS, and AIpack.ai will become a repository. And today obviously I have the backdoor, and I put the first pack over there. Eventually I want to allow you guys, and probably it will be constrained at the beginning because it's not fully sandbox, yes, a pack. So it will be only people that I trust. So obviously you guys, you will be part of it, and then you can publish your own pack. But until now, you can make your own pack and put it in the HTTPS everywhere you want it. And so here I'm going to install the ProCoder, and that will go and install my ProCoder. So this is the thing that we have now. Yeah. So we have the procoder, which has been installed. And you can see here that we have that in the .ai pack base. So that is a base that is shared across all of the runtime sessions. Yeah? And then it's pack install procoder. And we're going to install a new one, which is install pack pro at Rust 10x. And I just updated it just now. And that, the pro, so the pro is a namespace and the pack is a Rust 10x. And so now that will install it there. Okay, so far so good. Now I can do an AI pack run pro at coder. And that will create me a prompt file. And so rather to be in a chat box or something like that and so on, I like to work with files. Yeah, that's just me. And moreover, you can have different, if I do a -i, I can have different coder prompt and so on. And so the way it works here, and again, it's just a pack that decides that, is say on top of the equal is going to be the prompt. And at the bottom is going to be what the AI is answering me. Okay, so now on top is going to be a parametric agent. So now my procoder is going to extract and parse that to be able to decide what to do. That is a way that we kind of configure the things. So for example, one thing that we can do here, and I'm using main, and by default, the main is connected to GPT 4.1 things. But here I can put any model I want or any aliases I want. So here I have aliases, but the aliases is also on the AI pack base.config.2ml. So here we're using main, which is this guy. And it's actually, we're going to use our G-Pro here. Everybody's talking about it. So we're going to do the G-Pro and we're going to say, okay, do a loop in Rust. Okay. So now, because I have write mode false and I press R here, so I have command R that wires there, it will run the things here. It will send it to GPT 2.5, and then it will answer me the things below. Yeah? So this is the thing I have now, where I have the thing. So this is just more kind of a debug. I can press R to replay, and then it creates me the files over there. Okay, so far so good, and I can nice things, and then the nice things is I can turn stuff up. Now, one thing I can do here is, I put that like that, but I'm going to say the context globe is going to be cargo to ML. And that, what that will do is to say, okay, I'm going to take the base dir, so that we are telling the coder prompt, once we have base dir, that is enabled, so you're going to look at cargo, you are going to put cargo to ML and every source file, which is below SRC, in the context. But then the good news about that is we can narrow it down. And that is a way that I work here. I work with that to narrow the things down to make sure that I have the thing. Yeah. So one of the things here, for example, is that we can say now, create a Rust project. And that will create a Rust project over there. We can do that actually, yeah? Can you create a single Rust project? And actually, the G-Pro is kind of, is great, and I use it most of the time. But it's kind of slow and a little bit expensive when we're just playing around. So one thing that I like to do is I like to do the flash. And actually, if you go to, I'm going to put another one. If you go to your AI base, yeah, so that is your AI pack base. So this one is on your folder here, which is user, this guy, okay? And so this one will have more aliases. And so here I put a lot of aliases, and I have one pretty cool, which is flash prev, which is a flash 2.5. And we have the flash prev 0, which is very cool because now I added this suffix, which is say do a 0 budget on the reasoning context. So it's very cheap. So I'm going to use that alias which is not defined here, but this overrides the one back. Yeah? So I'm going to do that, such as it's going to be very fast. Can you create a Rust project? And I'm going to do true now. I'm going to press R. Oops, sorry. I'm going to press R, and that will replace the beast. Okay? And now, because I have write mode equal true, created a file. So I have this file, which, by the way, it doesn't like it somehow. And then I have this file. Okay? Now it likes it. Now my Rust things. And that's it. Now if I open a new terminal, I'm going to put it like that. We do a cargo run, and then we get our hello world. Nothing magic. It's obviously kind of boring to these days, but now the cool thing is we have the control. But we see that now this has created kind of a blank kind of guy. Now what we can do is we can go back to this, and we can have our knowledge globes. And so then after with the knowledge globe, what we do is something like that, where we're going to say, this is just examples. This is actually, if you want to code AI pack with AI pack, you can put that, and that you will have the doc. But here, remember, we installed the pro at Rust 10x kind of guy. So now what I can say is to say, hey, give me, I know that in Rust 10x, so you have to know a little bit what you included, to say there's guide and there's base. And I know that Jeremy put all of these best practices over there. So now I'm going to add all of those files as part of the context. So now we go back here. We're going to remove these guys here. Boom. And now we're going to rerun the same question. Okay, so that will run there. So we make sure that we press that. And there's a super good question. How does a context and AI pack work with an existing project in terms of folder structure? Yes. Okay, I'm coming there. I'm going to go very fast on this one. So now I say, can you create a single project in Rust staff following? I don't even know if I need to do that. Yeah, I got following the Rust 10x project. Okay. So now I press R. So I make sure that this one, I press R here. That will send the event. It's much faster with Flash. And then boom, it creates the thing. But now we can see that it created my way. Yeah, the Rust 10x way. Yeah? With this kind, I love this. There are more stuff. And then it goes over there. It does this guy here, which is a little bit of space here. It could have done the thing. And then it used that, which, you know, so they took a liberty here. That is not really something, but that is a way that I format my test. Yeah. And that is exactly my errors. That is the way I do this now, I do this kind of guy, and then all of this kind of thing. So that is the latest kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So now I think I can do something like that. And I think this was a previous guy. But basically now it costs nothing. When you use this guy, it costs nothing. So that is it's the way here now that we can work. Now, your question is very good. It's to say, okay, what if you have a big code and everything, you don't want to put all of this? So I'm going to go back here because we were going to be at production coding. So we're going to do AI pack, CLI. Okay. So that is actually my AI pack, which is today's stuff. And I have also the agentic crate that I use, a coder and everything. So everybody is using this guy. Yeah. So now, if I go there, let me clean it up. Now, if I go to my AI pack and it's site prompt, so here now we have support file as well, where things can store stuff in the support. But now with my procoder, I can go to my next prompt. And that's the way I have it. So first, I use my Rust 10x best practices, obviously. Yeah. And if I do a Toki on this guy, you know, cargo install Toki, it's amazing. It's super cool. And by the way, I didn't do it for a long time. So this one, yeah, okay, it still works very good. And you do a Toki. And that gives you the number of lines. So with the comments and everything, 25,000 lines of code. So that is the thing. So now, obviously, I don't want to send 20,000 lines of code. I don't know how much token it will be, but it will be a lot. And so that is, and moreover, it's not only about the token, because Flash 2.5 or 2, it's virtually free. The price is so low and our time is so valuable that it's free. But the problem is when we give too much, even with Google, super cool, Google Pro 056, and so all of those guys, they get messed up and they don't listen that well after a while. And so what we want here is predictability. There's one thing here that I didn't play too much. I need to play more, but is with the temperature. So with AI Pack, you can set up your temperature any way you want. So in fact, I can have the model, I could have temperature here equal 0, and that will take it. But right now, I'm not going to play with that. So what I have is, that is my production guy. I have the Rust 10X. When I work on something, so here, for example, the things that I added when I added this is that feature. Let me show you. These guys, AAP file, file save, append files, and all these kind of guys, And I don't want to have the cursor stuff. It's like, hey, we are cool. We know how to update files. And then they start to send everything. I don't control what they have. Then the AI change other things because he thinks it's a good idea to change other stuff. And I don't. When I work on production, I say, I want to fix that. They might be messy somewhere else. It's fine. I will fix it later. It's not part of the same commit. Yeah. So it's like coding. It's always about discipline. Yeah. So by giving him the data, now I kind of say exactly what I want. I want all the mode and the libs, and that is pretty cheap. And then I want to give it all my AAP files. So that is where I put the module for the file, and I say init. So here I use the globs. You have full support of globs. And then this guy knew I needed it in stuff, and I did it this HTML. So that is what I wanted to give as content. And so those file content will get added to the prompt. Okay? Now, but not the 25,000. So it's quite a bit, but he needed to have it anyway. Now, here's a cool thing. I have these structure globs here. And in the structure globs, it doesn't pass it. So in fact, I'm going to show you something pretty cool. The way it works, the coder here, it creates this kind of things. I put it under AI Pack because stuff. I could have put it under this kind of the official way, the support. So I could have coder on here, but then it was very deep. It was 2 levels deeper. So because VS Code extended it, and I said, okay, I'm going to put it under prompt, and that might become a best practice. But then I add this .cache business. So here I'm showing you the prompt files is what I put in the context, not the content of the files, but what I put. And that is refreshed for every request, okay? So here I say, hey, the knowledge files, here's all the knowledge files that I put. Yeah. Then I say all of the structure files, this is all of the structure files, and that won't get their content. So to your question here, Dave, when you say, well, how do you pass the structure of your project? Which is very important because it gives the AI a sense of the scope and what it has and what it doesn't have. And so that is where you do it. You say, hey, I'm giving you that. So that is cheap, yeah, because we're just going to give you, assuming you don't have, it's relatively cheap. Yeah? So it's just 200 lines of code or whatever. So usually you are within, 1,000 and stuff, but this is manageable. But that gives a lot of information. The other one that I give, but it's just me, I give all the modes and all the libs almost all the time. And the reason why is because it gives the AI what is public and everything. And so with this way, it's like a good way to say, and because moreover me in my best practice, I don't put code in mod.rs, so I always keep, if you look at my video, I always keep, that is what sometimes there's few exceptions. Oh wow, this is the last of it. I always keep the mod.rs just like that, every time. Yeah, so you can go to any body of them. I just have modules, and it's just about extending. And sometimes it looks a little bit weird, but I think the net value is still higher, is when I have an agent or whatever, because Rust Clippy doesn't like when it's tough. I say, well, okay, I put agent common or agent base or agent underscore implementation or whatever. And that is where I have the common stuff, the things that would have gone under module, would have been valid, but I don't like to have a stuff. So the result of this approach, which I had before AI, means that now when I give this, that's cheap. It's not expensive. And that has a lot of information, because now the AI can say, okay, what is public, what has been flattened or not. Okay, so this is a cheap way of giving that, assuming that you understand. And then I give the stuff. So the structure is things. And then we'll talk about the working globes here. It's super powerful. And I don't use it all the time. And then you have the write mode and gpro. And that was the prompt that I did. They say, in the file.rm. So here's the unfortunate truth. Yeah? The unfortunate truth in development is we have this vibe coding trend. And it's good and bad at the same time. The reason why it's good, because it pushes every model providers to be very good at coding. That's good. The reason why it's bad is because people think that is engineering. It's not about coding. It's about engineering. It's about good engineering. It doesn't matter if my son is electrical engineer or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's coding or whatever. It's about crafting good things. A carpenter it's also about engineering. I mean, smart carpenters is about, engineering. And so the thing I'm saying is to say here, the problem is with the vibe coding, it gives a feeling of people doing engineering when they don't. And then people like us look at that and it's like, well, AI is for vibe coding, and then we brush it off. If we do that, we're going to be behind. Yeah? The coding had changed for better or worse. So we have to embrace AI. Now the question is, do we follow the vibe coder guys and then just ask and we don't understand? Or do we actually control more? Yeah. So in this case, I'm trying to use it as much as possible. And now with AI Pack, I don't know, I think I'm about 30 to 40%. That is code generated by things. And I'm OCD and I'm a control freak in a way. So it's super high for me. And in fact, if you look at I tweeted that GitHub. And I don't know if I should be proud of that or not, but this might be a little bit low for you guys. If you look at, sorry guys. This is when I started. Okay. This is when can we guess where AI Pack and Procoder kind of hit it for me? Here, this line. This line hit it. And that is what's allowing me, I'm doing the agentic create, the start thing, I have clients and all of that. So this is where AI kind of hit it. And the quality didn't go down because I'm a quality freak, and I'm not saying my code is beautiful or whatever, but I'm always obsessed with quality and stuff. And I'm never happy with what I come up with. But the point is, I didn't compromise on quality. And that was all these years, and I've been working a lot on AI. It's like, I didn't find it. But now I have that because I have more control. To be honest, it's a little bit annoying sometimes to have to deal with that. But the value that I get back is great, because usually when you work on stuff, I want to work in commit. So if we go and look at a good one also to look at is, they have a nice tree over there. I don't. I think they have a nice. So I don't have the. You see, the way, there's one thing in AI and production coding here, which is very important, is, at least for me, is to be very good at commit discipline, having a very good commit discipline and working one by one with the thing. The thing I didn't manage to do it, and I don't want to rush it, is to let the AI doing multiple commits. I go commit at a time. Yeah, so that is another opportunity for growth there. But the point is, all of these features here, which are pretty big, when I added, this one, append JSON stuff, that was one prompt. Append this, that was one prompt. And sometimes it was not. Sometimes I was like, well, okay, the guy is going to get confused and everything. I'm going to do the design first, and then I do a prep. Sometimes I have we don't see them here, but I have prep commit with tilde, and then that gives me an opportunity of putting the AI on the right path and then having him doing the boring part. Yeah, so the goal is to have us, and sometime I turn write off, or I say, do not write any file. And what do you think about this or whatever? And I can do that. And I also have ChatGPT chat, sometime when I run. But to be able to have it in the browser is kind of game changing. So another good question here. With example of Rust and XML, what would be best use case? Create a new project vs implementing. Well, I use it for both. Yeah. So in the Rust 10X, when I create a new project, I like to, when I create new projects now, it like I just did before, yeah? You just create the nice things. I don't know, sometimes Flash doesn't listen good, yeah? So we did the Flash before, and it created. But, so the Flash is cheap, but for example, if you go this one, so that is Flash 2.5, the preview. That is an alias. So if I run this guy, is going to create it. Yeah. And that create my way with that. So I have a lot of snippets to create that, but nice, so nice. Boom, it creates the things, and then it goes back to source. And then I have my main. So this time it didn't add the silly test over there. It had this, which is my way. It has this error, which usually I do later, but that is nice because now I have it, and I have all my little trick to do the stuff. And even commented out this one. I was not even commenting out. So I use that to start new project for my XP and stuff. And often, for example, there's also something like, my XP patterns that I have a lot. I can do, so now when I start an XP, so then after I code, because I need to think about the script of the video. But sometimes I say, I want to start a new XP project, the Rust 10X way, do a simple example with hello world. Okay, XP, and then what is XP agentic, which will be one I will do, which is going to be my crate. So I'm going to do an XP on a crate. So now I go here and I have Command R. And by the way, I just released as well AI pack. And so the AI pack, you can install it. And right now it just has quite a bit of snippets. So it's nice when you build your own agents. It's nice because stuff. When you do Coder, you don't really need it. But if you build your own agent, and I'm going to have quite a bit of video on the aipack.com, and I will try .ai, and I will try to put it in my YouTube channel, but I need to be careful because I lose viewers every time I pronounce AI. So subscribers. So I need to think about this one. So this one I say new agentic, a Rust NX way, stuff, hello world, boom. And then I go back here, back. So I have nothing here, yeah? And then I'm going to say run. And that, so the Flash 2, I wouldn't recommend it. Flash 2.5, which is a Flash Prev, is pretty nice. It did the whole thing here. Created my source over there, lib, which is the way I've done it, which is empty, which is the way I described it. And now I have my C01, that is a Jamie thing, yeah? And then I have just say hello world, and that's it. And then I ask, to say, hey, copy that and stuff. And then, I can ask to say, hey, can you copy, can you create a new C02 async? Okay. And that will probably create a C02 async of hello world. Okay. boom, Tokyo Async. And then if he was smart, he would have added it here. Hey, yeah. So that is all. I mean, like for me, this is awesome. Yeah. And cost of that, so AI Coder and AI Pack is awesome. Boom, I give you the price, every single request. So I computed the price. And in fact, to get the price, I use an agent, an AI Pack agent that goes to every site and put it in JSON and stuff. And then I put it in AI Pack code and so on. So I have all this agent to do that because otherwise it's a pain to like go to the sites. And this is the thing, it shows you, the reasoning token and stuff. Now, the cool thing here is I even have a 0 guy. So I just added that today. When you do .0, that is not supported by things, but I have an alias. Back, if I go to my base, so I alias. So that is where I can put all the aliases I want. And I alias flash prev 0, which is with the new stuff now. It's here. So, flash prev 0 is here with a dash 0. So I can have high, medium, low, and things just with the model name. So that is pretty cool because now I can reduce even the cost of this and also the speed. So I can do a C3 and then say I can do a C3 with threads. Okay, then I go back here, press R, and that, wow, that was fast. Oh, yeah, well, was fast, but was not really reasonings. So anyway, I don't want to start because otherwise I'm going to start playing a lot on this guy. So that is the reason why. So one of the reasons why, let's see what it done. You see, it's smarter. So when he thinks it's smarter, yeah. And he did Tokyo thread, Tokyo task, not thread, but that's fine. So the point here is that when you do these kind of things, like even when you start something from scratch, now the friction of starting something from scratch, for me, it's lower. Yeah? And the cost is free. This is free. So there's no cost. And this is why I worked a lot on having a nano, a mini, and all the aliases and stuff. You can point it and you can just change it there. And then it's super fast to change any model you want. Yeah? So here we could use Grok or whatever, or GPT-4 or whatever. So that is the thing. So now, yes. So very good question here, which is from Roberto, Jamie, AI Pack. Yes, AI Pack is very generic. It's not even about coding. So before it was Dev AI, and then I generalize it, yeah, to be the thing. Because in fact here's the thing, because now I don't care about removing anymore because I can create with one prompt. Let's say that I do not want anymore, just to say that the way that we've done here, I don't know if you were there, but we did a AI Pack. So you go to AI Pack. AI Pack AI. So you go there. There's a Substack here where I'm putting quite a bit of videos here, all these kind of things. And by the way, that has been done with Coder. And this is sorry, I'm not showing. That has been done with Coder, yeah. And the way that I've done it is not a single page web coding. Yes, I coded it and then I asked to refactor to put things in constant and all these kind of things. And then there's a lot of details here that people don't realize, but when the things, so it's all canvas, and when it animates, it comes from behind. So this means that in the drawing order, you have to draw it. They didn't know that. Yeah, the AI, you say after they get confused with SVG or whatever. So you have to say, no. You draw the new column, no matter where they come from last on each tick. Yeah. So okay, make sure you, Roberto, make sure you update it. I did a big release with some super cool stuff, and the coder also should work a little bit better and stuff. So there's very cool stuff that came. So the AI pack is completely generic. For example, I can create, so I have this AI pack. I would recommend to install this one. I'm going to maintain it quite a bit. The AI pack thing here. Oh, they allow me. Oh, Microsoft did that for me. That's nice. And then when you go, so for example, I'm going to remove the stuff here. So I'm going there and I can create a new agent. Okay? And you are going to understand how this is very powerful even for production coding. The fact of agent. So now I have with my AI pack, I can say, hey, I want to do an agent, a minimum agent. Okay. And the minimum agent is an AAP file, which is a markdown file, is multi-stage markdown files. And it has these things where it's Lua. The reason why it's Lua is because it's completely embeddable. So now AI pack, zero dependency, don't need Python, don't need JavaScript, 15 megabytes on disk, and I can run anything I want. So now on this one and it's Lua, and Lua is no problem. You ask GPT and they create Lua. And in fact, you can ask AI pack to create AI packs agent. But here we did it manually with snippets. And so here I take either the input or the things, and then I return some data. I can put it in the instruction. If it's disabled, it won't talk to AI. So usually what I do to debug, at the beginning, I do this, disable, and then if I do this, it will go to AI. And then I can add more. I can add system, and here I have the system one. So that use handlebars and below. And then after I look for output, and then I execute this guy. So for example, here, if I do AIP, run, agent, boom, is going to complain, okay, disabled. Okay. Now, I have command R that wires down. I might do that in my AI pack. I don't know if I want this binding because command R is pretty intrusive if people are using it for something else. But for me, I use that all the time. So here I press R here. And you can see here that my name is world because we didn't send it there. And here we say you either take AI response content or the data some data, which is the one here. Now, if we enable this, it will try to talk to the things. And here they say, hey, you are trying to tag to OpenAI, but there's no OpenAI. So this is where you need to make sure that you have your keys. I have a little script for that I'm not very proud of, but it works. That is a personal script, yeah. So today, AI pack, I didn't go into the whole story, having a vault for keys yet. I might do it. These are things that kind of use keychain, but I kind of disable it because keychain is being deprecated kind of. So it's this whole mess on this one. So you have to set your environment variables. But now that I have those, I run this, and that goes to Capgemini, and I'm saying, hello world, it's a wonderful stuff and journey and stuff. So that it knows me. Now, if I change the name here, my name is Jeremy, and then I press run again, it will run again, and it's going to give me that. So that is good. Now, the cool thing about this is to say, well, I don't want that. I want to be able to pass an input. So then you can put that, and you can put John. Okay? And so in this case, what we did here in the data, we say, well, if there's an input, take input, otherwise my name is Jeremy. And so now I say, hello, John, because we pass John. Yeah. So this way here, we can do a little bit what we want. Now, how does that relate to production coding? Because that's this game, is cute and everything. And it's very powerful because you can have before all groups, yeah? So for example, here we can say have before all, there's a stage before all. So I can have even a stage which is, what's the name? Option. And that will allow me to change the temperature, the input, and the consistency. So that is, I can change the options of what I have in the config. So config type preference, the base is last, the workspace. So when I have a .ai pack, this means that is a workspace. So I would go look at the workspace. Everything is committed here. So it goes back to the base that we saw before, the home.aipack-base/config. Now, here I can put something else, yeah? So again, we can do flash. And then we're going to do that, and that should be super fast. And then it goes there. And I give you also some of the, not the pricing here. The pricing is not, yes. Oh, no, the pricing is part of AIPack. It's not part of GenAI. So here I give you this one second. But usually it's supposed to be faster, Flash. I think slow. Okay. Usually it was sub-second, but anyway, costs nothing, and then I can change the stuff. And now I'm using Flash. Now, all of that is cool, but now the other stuff that we can do, for example, is AIP before. So there's a before all stage. And that allows us to reshape the input. So in this case, I'm saying, hey, if there is some input that has been sent, because in fact, we can send multiple inputs, then those inputs are the inputs. Well, good. Otherwise, you do a file list of the list that are in, we're going to say in base, okay? We're going to do that. And then we do a before response. So that is how we control the flow. So that allows us to reshape the inputs. And then we can even control, what we want and so on. So now we have this here, and we can send before all, but now it's a new input. So now if I do this like that, it should still say hello world, John. Yeah. Oh, because I know why. Because I say give it nice warming, but very concise one line. Okay, because he was trying to be over smart here. And now we're on the sub-second. Hello, Jen, great to see you. Okay, 300 milliseconds. That makes sense. So now this is cool, but now what I can do is I can do like that, and then say Jen. And that will run the thing concurrently. And now it will give me two answers, yeah? Hello, Jen, and hello, John. And then if I don't give anything, just this agent, say if I don't have an input, this is what we're saying here, yeah? If we don't have any inputs, we reshape them. So now it should be one guy, which is our agent. And he's going to say, okay, I didn't input, okay. Name, for example, okay. So that is because it's expected string. And then I say, hello agent AAP and stuff. And if we have another one here that has text, and then we do a command R, we'll have two things, hello text and hello welcome. Yeah, so that allows me. So now this is like, okay, it's cool, Jeremy, but this is, we see that all the time on YouTube. So what the point? Well, the point is now, because I reduce the friction of creating custom agents, we can do very interesting agents. So for example, one thing that I do in the production coding is you can ask AIPack to create AIPacks. The way I do it, and that is the magic of the whole AIPack business, is that when you install an AIPack, you will have some default pack, core, and demos. And actually, I use demo craft text a lot to speak English, because obviously, to write English, because or even French. And but then here I have two things in core: the Ask AIPack, which is a pack which I can use, but I can even use coder and point it to that guy, the same way that I've done the Rust 10x. And so now I can say, well, I want to code an AIPack or an agent. Do you know stuff? And so I created all of these things, yeah? This is all of the doc here, which is very AI friendly, human too, so if I look at it like this, it's not too bad. Yes, I have the doc like that. Yeah. And then I have it there. So that looks cool. And we say, well, okay, that is good, but how did I generate that? Because it's a pain, yeah? I have it in my code, in my Rust code. So if you go to script, AIP modules, you can even run agent within the agents, and then you have all the docs there. I don't want to create the doc somewhere else. which is another discussion here, because the problem here is add quite a bit of weight to the file when we edit them, but that is something else. But the point is, I have the code there for now, the document there. So what I did here, and I could use Docker to create files, so I did that at some point. I said, hey, you can create files, because one thing I can do with Docker is I can say, let's do that, for example. It's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to take all of the files under AIP init. I'm not going to take too many, okay? I'm going to remove that. I don't really need the structure, but I'm going to keep the structure. Actually, I'm going to go crazy here. AIP modules. So we're going to take all of these guys here, AIP modules, and I wouldn't need that. And I'm not going to take the files, just the flat guys. And then I want to extract the documentation. So what I did to create that, this single file API, is I extracted all of the documentation of these guys. I put it somewhere else. I don't want, such as a shorter. And then I ask the AI to say, hey, with all of these files, put them in context once. Can you, give me the single file and follow the spec? Then boom, you give it to me. So now what we can do with Coder is something like that, which is actually pretty cool. So make sure. Now what we can do is, so I don't really need knowledge, but I don't really remove this kind of stuff usually. So I do these kind of things, and we're going to do it like that. What to see is going to be kind of amazing. So I'm going to say, for all files, extract the comment only, the comment block only, space the comment blocks with 2 empty lines. In doc. So for me, everything which is doc, we're going to call it actually TMP. Doc. Come on. Item. File name. .md. Is the path of the source file with / replaced by dash. Yeah, so like this we flatten it out. Okay. J keys to put the keys, and we're going to do AIP, run pro at Coder. Oh, wait, no, I don't want to do G Pro. I'm going to do the Flash. So for these kind of things, except if you like to burn, but otherwise, you use those guys. In fact, I would use even this guy, now that I have it. Okay, yeah, it's cool. So the reason why it's pretty... so this is going to be cool. So the reason why it's taking time is because we put everything in context. Yeah, correct? So we take all the modules, put all these files, pretty big, and we ask him, hey, change it and all of these kind of things. So it's going to take time to do it because now he has to parse the stuff. The good news is it has everything in context, but it will take time. Later, like when that is done, and hopefully it works, I'm going to show you how to use working globes, such as we can parallelize stuff. And it's just mind-blowing. Yeah. Now, the cool thing about that, what it does, his business here, is that, well, I could do the prompt all the time, and there's actually I can have multiple folders with my coder prompt, so that's fun. But because it's a multi-step, I like, here it is, created a template, and created all the files. Boom. Have it. So that's cute, but I can do better. What I can do is doc02. I can go here, and I can take this guy, and rather to put that there, I'm going to keep the cargo just because for sake. I'm going to put it there. And you see, before I was using that. And now I'm going to put that. And this is, I know people don't like to edit files sometimes, but this is amazing. So now what I'm saying is say, hey, this is a working globe. So working globe, the way it's split is like every file will be one input now. And because AI pack work on input and concurrency built in, and this is where the whole thing meets, yeah, the rubber meets the road or whatever. The reason why I could do AI pack in the time I did alone and so on is because of Rust. Because Rust allows me to do concurrency in a safe, good way. And there's a lot of improvement I want to do with the code. Yeah, I'm not proud of the code, and there's a lot of cool, but it's concurrent and it works very nicely and it's safe. And that is thanks to Rust, yeah? Because the concurrency here on other language, you know, other like low-level languages, I wouldn't be able to do it. And so now I have that. I don't really need to give this guy, so I would do that if I wanted to optimize, but it doesn't matter. And now for all of the files, or for the working file, extract the command block only, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah? So now it's going to take that and stuff. So this guy here, for all of the content, because we use Flash, and so that is a nice thing to be able to change it very quickly, because you want to be able to use cheap stuff. Because here, 2 cents, again, this is free. Yeah, as long as you do it like this, there's no way that our time is, less than that. So, or more than that. The working file, for the working file, extract the command blocks only, space the command block and stuff and things, and save file and stuff. Okay, it might not be English, but so here it is. And we did concurrency 6. I'm sorry here. Boom, 6 at a time. And it will do stuff. And now if we go to this folder, we see them. They just come in. And it keeps the stuff 6 until it does the stuff. And then that's it. So we took some things that took, whatever time before, and we spaced it and stuff. So now that is becoming super fast. So this is what it allows me to do. And so usually what I do is that once I have that, I will say, oh, okay, I go there, and then I say, okay, I don't need this guy anymore. And then I'm going to go back here, and then this, and then there's a little trick, I don't know if you know, in the VS Code, which I like because it's very relevant to us, is this guy. So my init file, so that is what I zip and I put into the guy, and base pack install demo. I don't know why I have custom. And core doc LUI API up, and I put that with a shift. The trick is press shift and then boom, put it there. That's it. That's pretty good. And then I have all the context globe, and I could put that as a working file, but it doesn't matter. I put it there. And then here I will say, with all of the code documentation, update the, and I will just take the latest name. Something like that, yeah. And then eventually you get better at prompting, and then you run it. But the cool thing is, and this is very important, yeah. All the time, I always do a git status and then make sure that every time you run, you're on a clean commit. Yeah, you don't have any leftover, because that is where you will run. Because now you do that, I don't know what it's going to do. Because usually for this one, I will definitely not use 0, but I will perhaps use Pro. I don't know, but I will try this because again, Flash is free. And I could try, Mini or whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So sometime when one is down, I shift to the other guy and thing. And so I will do that, and then I do a run. And that will take all those guys and do the stuff, and then it will eventually update this guy. Now, because I don't want to do that all the time, yeah, because it's 2 prompts and everything. So even that is like, okay, I want to be the staff. What I do is I come to this guy. Sorry, I'm being slow. Yeah, .ai pack. So in AI pack, I have a .ai pack, which is a folder, obviously. And then I have my own pack. So what you can do is I have 2 kind of way. You can put custom packs, and your custom packs will take precedence over the other pack. So in a custom here, and in Workspace, you can only have custom. You can custom and you can have your own pack. And so in my GitHub, and Git ignore is a little bit of pain of doing it, but I did it. So you can see all of the thing here to make sure that, we don't commit the whole AI pack, but we commit the custom dev. Because that's it. They get checked in. And so if you're a team, then people can use the same guys. Yeah? And so now when I go to custom dev, I am my doc. And here I have, 3 guys. So a pack can have a main.aip, which is going to be run if you don't give, but I could run. So this guy is completed. So 3, that's good. 28 seconds, that's fine. And then let's see what he did. Well, okay. That is because I did a mistake somewhere. So that it didn't get the right file somewhere. Oh, yeah, I say command block and I did this. I should have given the other guys that we had. So the way you do it is that. So that is important. Yeah, that is a good example. Super important to have clean commit before you do that, because otherwise it's going to be a nightmare. And then you go to, where is our TMP? Doc. It's our doc2. Contact doc2 or whatever. If you take the folder, it will get the absolute path, which we don't care, because we can be smart. And then, okay, this should be better. If I run clean run, it will do. But bottom line is, going back, is I don't want to run that all the time. So what I've done is my own agents. Yeah, so it doesn't even use coder. And so my agent here, and I run them like that. I do a AI pack. I'm not going to run them at the same time, but AI pack run. And so the namespace is dev at doc, pack name. And then I can have the path here. So I will usually do extract rs doc. And I don't need to add the AIP. This one works fine. Boom, I run that, and that will run this guy. I use mini here, which is 4.1 mini. And then it does this. It goes through all the pack modules, and then it creates them. So this one, I don't have to pass prompt and stuff. Everything is hard-coded in the file in a way, yeah? And then it does that, but it does that concurrently, yeah, because I can extract it concurrently. So I do the load, I do the file, I do the prompt, and then I just put it in Workspace. And that is a cool thing now, is we can do the pack identity and Workspace, and that will store the things in support. pack. And it's not because I didn't run it, but it will be under, I mean, here's the old run. It will be there. Yeah. That was when it was called my pack, my dev doc, yeah. But my doc. And so this one, I changed it now. I put it there. So that will create the file there and put it there and then stuff. And I don't even need to ask AI to change the name because here I'm doing it manually. Yeah. And then that's it. And then I have another one that that does what? That update the stuff. That is what I run after. And this one I use Flash. Yeah, I don't know why I use Flash XP. I could use Flash, a smarter one. And then that's it. Yeah. So that is a way here that I'm using kind of things. We can see what this guy has done this time. Okay, much better. Now I don't like it because one thing I don't like in this one is why did it change so much? Yeah. So that is where prompt engineering is important. And this is why sometimes it's nice for this kind of task where I want very high predictability on this file. I will typically add, if you go and look at what I have in my agent, so I will do that in the prompt. Yeah, so use Coder when you do stuff. When you do a repetitive task, it's good to be able to fall down to an AIP. And so usually what I will do here, so this one will work better because, okay, see this one that I have here, where I put all of the, first let's remove, so that was the old one, but second, make sure that, return type and things, and then I say what is good, what is bad, and then only give back content and do not remove inline definition. So you can give more kind of things. Otherwise, you can just copy paste and put it somewhere. But that is a good way to really control the output you want to have. So that is the two ways that I'm using AI for production coding. And to be fair, at the big scheme of stuff, I have GitHub as well, a Copilot, which for me, I use it only for autocomplete. If it could do more, I will love it. But every time I try to ask a little bit more than autocomplete, the whole thing, I don't know what it does. It goes everywhere. So every time I am on a file and I'm trying to do something, very simple. Yeah, I have already something done and I want to, change something or whatever and do a command I, that, and I add something and I don't know. Yeah, perhaps I haven't been using enough or not, but I don't know what it does. And then, but the autocomplete is pretty good because it respects the patterns that you have. So now I have a pretty good sense of when it will do a good autocomplete. And then also what I have, to be fair, I also have another, I always have on the bottom here, I often have a ChatGPT open. And often I use it more and more now for API definition, to define my APIs when I'm not sure about the name and stuff. It's nice. I give it a whole class and it's like, okay, here's a name. I want to add this API. I want to be Rust idiomatic, but here's my stuff. So with underscore means something for me. Usually it's consuming pattern and stuff. So, sometimes they use it for something else. So there's this kind of things that I always adjust. If you have any question, feel free to ask. I think we're coming at the end here. I was pretty pleased that people wanted to hear kind of AI in production coding. I hope I answer your question and things. I'm going to do more AI pack content, live videos and things. I'm going to still do the Rust ones, obviously, but I want to start also showing how to use AI pack for Rust production coding. There's a cool crate that I've done, which is agentic. It's the agentic crate. And that allows you today to have a AI pack, not AI pack, sorry. So I use AI pack to do some of the developing. And basically it does MCP. Client and server. Today is client, tomorrow is going to be server. I'm going to add the server, but right now the client is working pretty well, has all the types. The way that I've done it, this is another good example here, is I've downloaded the doc, and I'm a big fan of MCP. I'm the biggest fan of JSON RPC, obviously. In the doc, they have the whole doc in TypeScript, which is heaven. Heaven. I mean, I couldn't thank them more. TypeScript is a great language to describe JSON. Yeah, I mean, you have JSON types and stuff. It's amazing. The AI understand it like very well. So first, what I did is to say, hey, look at all these types, because everything is in a single file. So they did the work for me and create all the types in Rust. It created me something, but it was not really ergonomic. It was really kind of things. So I had this as a branch somewhere, and then I restarted from scratch because what it gave me, the first MCP was too complicated and stuff. So I restarted from scratch. I looked at it a bit, and I restarted like slowly. And then once I got the good pattern where I wanted to do the stuff, I had it writing the other guys. It was a lot of hand-holding. I'm pretty happy with where I landed it with the API. I think it's pretty ergonomic. But it took me some time, but AI helped me a lot as well. But again, it's not vibe coding, because a vibe coding result will have been, I think, perhaps Rust idiomatic, but it will have been idiot as well. So idiotic as well. Okay, we're going to say. So it's not because you are idiomatic that you are not idiotic or idiot. Yeah. So that is the things here where I was like, well, the API is trying too hard to be idiomatic. So I kind of step back and I make, which I think is still very idiomatic, but there's a lot of thoughts behind it. Yeah. But I was like working with AI to create that. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to try to do a little bit some of the live in a public fashion to see if people are interested to see this kind of topic in a public. My goal is to go back to use all of that. This is why I work a lot with Rust 10x and the Rust web app. And I need to update a lot the Rust web app now. SQLX is 0.8 and a lot of things updated. And I need to give it back some love here, such as we can grow it. And I want to make it very productive with that. Now, the cool thing where I'm pretty happy is, we went with the JSON RPC for Rust web app for a long time ago. And the whole industry is finally adopting JSON RPC thanks to MCP and agent-to-agent. Rust Analyzer use JSON RPC as well. And so JSON RPC is a great inter-process communication format that is transport protocol agnostic. So that is the benefit of all of that. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I think for this group here, for this live things, I never know how much I should promote it in my channel or not. I'm always a little bit shy about that. But since we are small, again, one thing that I'm going to try to do, I have now AI Pack Microsoft account, which means, it will be Rust, yeah, but which means that I can have teams. So we'll probably start the video, like live streaming like that, and within the chat, I will give the URL for the people to join, and then you have to stop the YouTube stuff because the YouTube will be delayed and team will be live, but then we'll try to do that. Before that, I need to learn how I can loop voice back to you, and I need to put something such as I can hit, and so there's a little bit more work to do, but that is something I want to do. And then also I'm going probably doing more kind of live AI pack that I will put on LinkedIn with Microsoft Team. But I'm going to try again to have this Team YouTube live, both, such as, people from LinkedIn can both join both, and it will be public and anybody can join. And otherwise, we're going to catch up here, the things that we lost in April. So I'm going to send more stuff, and we'll do exactly what I always do with you guys, doing a poll on subjects. If I miss a subject, feel free to ask. I can add it for the next one. And then Until next one, happy coding. I think.